Hello everybody, this is Mr. Martin Metcalf. I'm Peter Knox. How you doing, Martin?
Very well, thank you.
What you been up to?
Writing songs.
Great.
Today.
Ah.
Yeah.
Are you always writing songs?
No, I'm painting sometimes, but I have been writing the last couple of days because my wife is out of town, so I can make it. The way I write is like I sort of like improvise a lot and vocally, and then I write whatever comes out of my head. I write it down. So it's a bit of a hellish racket, really, to subject anyone else to.
Right. So you did send her away?
Well, I didn't send her.
No.
She chose to go, and I took the opportunity to.
I don't know if career is the right word for using when you're talking about rock and roll and art and stuff like that. But I was, whether or not it is, I was wondering if you would mind giving us a wee recap of what you've been up to over your life.
The life story.
Yeah, full life story.
Right. Well, we were talking about Bathgate before I came in, so it all started there. That's where I was brought up, and did my first gigs, in Ski Mullen's living room, age 15. That was the first gig, 1978.
Did you get a good crowd?
Well, it was his family,
Yeah.
so they were pretty positive about us.
Right.
And we in that first gig we had our own songs, a couple of own songs. We played all the punk covers that we did at that point, but we had a couple of our own songs, which was, I don't know, I mean, like, punk allowed everyone to, the door became wider to enter the world of what people will call art now, songwriting. But prior to that, most people thought they couldn't do it. Something that it's mysterious, very mysterious sort of thing. But because the punk bands came along, it was very simple to see. You would see what they were doing. You could see how they operated within the song. It wasn't complicated, so it kind of opened the door to songwriting. So that's a long time ago now.
Yeah.
And from then we just there were no recording studios in Bathgate. There were no rehearsal rooms in Bathgate. And I think there still aren't any there. But we got our own place eventually. We rehearsed, and we found a producer, a studio in Edinburgh, and recorded some songs there and demoed them. And we just kept demoing for years, really, until the producer guy, the engineer, Wolf Smarties, very famous guy in Edinburgh, he started getting management in to look at the bands. So
he had connections, and he
thought
found
you guys
connections. Were interesting.
Yeah, he found connections, and mainly because of the way the business was, there wasn't a lot going on in Edinburgh either. So these people came through from Glasgow and picked us up, and then we had an indie record out, and then we had, then we just moved forward, got a record deal with Goodbye Mr. McKenzie, and then we toured Britain, then eventually we toured Europe, and then after that we broke up, and we toured America under a different name, Angelfish, with a sort of stripped down version of that band.
Right.
And then Shirley got her deal. I went into rehab.
Right. Okay.
She became uber famous, and I had to start again, really, from the beginning. I suppose that's the way it was.
Had you been enjoying the rock and roll lifestyle too much, or
not too much? No, I don't think that's possible. I just, but I suppose I did take it too far.
Right.
Shirley was more recreational in her behaviour. I became more kind of cyclical about it. And others in the band actually, it didn't seem to affect them as much as me. But there you go. It's just the way it is. Singers do tend to. There's a lot more pressure on a front person than even other band members actually realised. So I think that was a contribution, yeah.
And so there's been a few bands since then, hasn't there?
Yeah, let me think. Well, the first reincarnation of Goodbye Mr. McKenzie was Angelfish, which had Finn Wilson, Derek Kelly and myself, bass, drums and guitar.
And was that the one that was, you did an album produced by
the Talking Heads, yeah, or to the Talking Heads. Chris Francentino Weymouth, the rhythm section from the Talking Heads, produced that
like the
album.
Tom Tom Club crew?
Yeah, they had that band and they had the Talking Heads also. So we recorded that album in their house in Connecticut.
All right, okay.
In America. They had a big studio, fairly big studio above their garage, and we recorded the backing tracks in the living room.
And were they fun to just hang out with and
They
stuff
were,
like that?
they were really great people.
Mhm.
They really were. And at that point, we supported the Ramones, and we'd supported Debbie Harry and Christine from Blondie.
Have you got any Ramones stories?
Actually, we did. We never met them.
Oh, one of those ones.
I don't think there would be any stories. They were
No.
just a hard-working unit that didn't do very much. You know, the only person that was outrageous was Dee Dee Ramone, and he'd left the band by that point. Dee Dee was an addict and a male prostitute when he was young, and a lot of crazy stuff, and also the most creative guy in the band. But he'd gone. You know, they couldn't get on anymore, and they had a new guy called C.C. Ramone, a young bass player, and yeah, they were just really what they were was a solid little factory unit that just toured, and their guitarist Johnny Ramone was just like a hardcore sergeant major.
Right.
They had to come in on time. They couldn't get out of line on tour. He'd been in the army, and he'd been a construction worker.
Right.
So he was quite a tough guy, and he couldn't handle any lack of discipline, which is another reason that Dee Dee had to go.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we supported the Ramones in a couple of gigs in America, 3, 4, something like that. Toured with Debbie Harry in Britain and lots of other bands as well. We supported a lot of other bands. Did our own tours, and met these great people, and then I kind of had to start again, and that's what happened. I started from, and when we came back kind of naturally. I started writing again, and then we started thinking about what we wanted to do, and then I met this lovely lady called Stacey Chavis, who I'm now married to, and she wanted to sing, so I said, alright. It was kind of like, it was a little bit like Angelfish, except in reverse. When it was like Garbage, except in reverse. But they have 3 American guys and 1 Scottish singer, and this was like 1 American singer and 3 Scottish guys. It was just like a bizarre sort of mirror. And we made 3 albums with Stacey, and so now we're back. 3 core members of Goodbye Mr. McKenzie, and myself singing again.
You must all get on alright, eh?
We do, yeah, we do. We toured Europe in a camper van at one point. Toured Europe about 3 times, 4 times, and the camper van was great. We got on really well. As long as weirdly enough, that we had a French tour manager, and he couldn't understand why all we played was country and western greatest hits. And it was because we just couldn't face each other's taste in music, really. So we had to pick something that was really like so kitsch and cheesy and easy to listen to that we wouldn't fall out about it.
Right.
So that's one, that's one compromise, and it's great. Stand By Your Man. We heard it so many times. We started to discover new things about these songs. Like she sings a line that goes, "He'll have good times. No, you'll have bad times, and he'll have good times doing things that you don't understand." I was like, what what is he doing? Is he making a spacecraft in the garage? Or, like, no.
Yeah.
So like, it was a different.
It's running on a particle accelerator, yeah. So, you've got a new album, Filthy Tongues. Tell us about making it, how it came about. Is it just you write all the songs, or is it a jamming thing, different ways?
It's not a jamming thing. We don't do that at the moment, largely because our drummer is in London,
right?
And he's my co-writer, really. And Finn, the bass player, lives in Peebles, so it's kind of like it's a bit of an effort to get us all in the same room together on a regular basis. So when we do rehearse, we have to like do hours. Really, we have to really put the hours in. And jamming isn't really something that we've been doing a lot of.
No.
So we just write songs and send the files back and forward and build the songs up. We do Skype and we just kind of do a long distance writing thing, which is pretty strange, really. I suppose we never, it's not something. But it's not that different to what we used to do. Was we get together in a room, myself and Kelly, and we write songs,